So I just watched Crossing the Rubicon, and 3 seasons of storytelling have led to this moment. Also known as, what the heck is a Rubicon anyway? This is the culmination of Black Arachnia's entire storyline throughout 3 seasons of Beast Wars, as well as her subplot that is strung through Season 3. We see her attempting to use the Transmetal 2 driver she rescued from the lava, which also culminates in what is essentially like a miniaturized version of the Transmetal chamber that Megatron created. She's been at this a while, but there's ramifications to this. So, as I said, we finally get to see her scheme. She's trying to power up, essentially. It's basically Black Arachnia 101. She's trying to get more power, though this doesn't seem to be for malevolent reasons this time. She still does not like the level of strength she is at the moment. Because as we're going to find out, well, we'll get to that one in a minute. We find out kind of where her mindset is in all this. It does feel appropriately timed. So, her fight, like the episode, a previous couple episodes ago, we saw her fighting with Dinobot 2, and it really did kind of feel filler, but it really was the last push she needed to make this risk, because she's experimenting on herself at this point. Yeah, so obviously, because this is how Beast Wars works, Silverbolt finds her, interrupts it, everything explodes, and starts shorting out Black Arachnia as a result. And there's a moment where she's screaming in uncontrollable pain, and Silverbolt is just calmly asking what's wrong, and it's just like very unintentionally funny. Oh yeah, I should mention, this episode has one of the most infamous animation errors of the series, where Black Arachnia's physical damage keeps going back and forth between visible and not visible. When she's in the base, it goes away. When she's out of the base, it comes back. It's a little bit odd, but it's I don't know. I don't think it detracts from the episode too much. So the big thing here is that the shell program that Black Arachnia was implanted with by Tarantulas is breaking down, and it's actually putting her spark in danger. If they, they could try, they want to try to remove it, but it's never been done before, and if they don't try, basically her core is going to get wiped. It's a rough decision. It's a really rough decision for Black Arachnia. Either become the thing she never wanted to be, or essentially just become a blank. I do appreciate that, at the very least, that we're pulling back elements we learned from previously. We already learned about shell programs. I also really like that Rhinox has something to do in this season that requires his technical expertise. He's been kind of a quiet background character for most of the season, so it's really nice to see that he has something really important to do for this episode. We get a scene outside with her and Silverbolt, and this is a really interesting scene for me because it's one of the rare times I think we see Black Arachnia being completely honest. I've said in the past that survival seems to be her primary drive. It's why she wants power, so she can't be controlled. And it's ultimately because she's trying to survive the Beast Wars, which here she does admit if she thought anyone would survive the Beast Wars, it would be her. This is the scene that gives me the implication that she really is driven by the need to survive. Which, of course, natural. But it's the reason why she sides with Tarantulas. It's the reason why she, tries to form alliances. It's the reason she tries to manipulate Silverbolt. She's always trying to look for that angle that lets her come out on top, just so, she can keep going. Let's see, where are my notes at? We do see a lot of change in her in this episode, even at this point. She's going to trust Rhinox to try and save her life, but she admits that trusting is very difficult for a Predacon. So the fact that she does trust Rhinox with the task does say a lot about her character growth. And she also trusts Optimus Prime with the activation codes for the Ark. There's a little foreshadowing that goes on with this too, so which is not bad. The irony here is if she gave those codes to anybody else, they would have been safe, because Optimus is probably the most obvious place to hide them. And we do hear that Megatron has a plan for that. We'll get to that with the next episode. I like the cyberspace look inside of Black Arachnia's head, too. Like, it's very 90s cyberspacey looking. Like, it's very much how, like, most cartoons depicted the inside of a computer's memory bank. It kind of looks like, the notes say that it looks like a stage from a Star Fox game. And it really does. And Rhinox flying around this tiny little drone with blasters on it doesn't help that comparison. It was definitely more interesting than looking at binary code for the whole episode. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of tension with this scene that I really like. The Predacons are attacking solely to sabotage the rescue attempt. The shell program is firing off sparks that could destroy Black Arachnia's spark. There's a lot going on to raise the tension in the episode, in this moment. And there is some genuine shock. When you're watching it for the first time, there is some genuine shock when the Predacons seem to succeed, thanks to Tarantulas, and Black Arachnia flatlines. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you really didn't, like, at first you kind of didn't expect it. Now, looking back on it, you can see where they set up the Transmetal 2 driver to bring her back and all that, but in the moment, when you're first watching, it's kind of surprising that they would pull that trigger. And keep in mind, this is the show that killed off Dinobot, as well as a couple Predacons in season 1, or the beginning of season 2. So it's not unheard of. The potential's there. What leads from this is Silverbolt going into full rage mode. He is after Tarantulas for full-on vengeance, and it's weird. It's really weird to see the chivalrous Silverbolt resorting to just cold revenge. And brutal revenge. If it wasn't for Rampage, he would have spiked Tarantulas on the tip of a missile. That's pretty intense. It's pretty intense, not going to lie. So okay, obviously Black Arachnia doesn't die. The Transmetal 2 driver brings her back, which, once again, we don't explain what this thing is at this point. Can we please give me something? Because, like, seriously, this driver waited until after she died, and then waited till everyone left the room in order to turn back on and finish the Transmetal 2 conversion, which somehow also brought her spark back online. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what was going on at this point. So at least it's set up, even if it's not explained. And her debut as a Transmetal 2, there's a lot of layers to it I actually really appreciate. So the start is hearing her actually shout Maximize. She's the last character in the show that does get to shout that activation command, by the way. And it shows just how far her character has come, that she is now actually calling herself a Maximal. Now, we saw the shell program fall off. We saw it get destroyed as her core was blowing up. So we know that it's gone. So that's part of why she's calling herself a Maximal. But throughout the rest of the series, she's going to still feel like herself, you know? So it tells you a lot about what the shell program actually is, and that maybe it's not so much it creates a brand new personality as it does just kind of twist it to the point where, like, it's going to serve, you know, more villainous cause, where Black Arachnia, if she is properly brought online, might have still been a femme fatale character, even though she was a Maximal. Entirely possible. But yeah, her debut fight is nice to see. It's great that they put her up against Rampage, because remember, the whole start of her character turning was her union with Silverbolt to evade Protoform X / Rampage. And at that time, they were pretty much powerless to go against him on their own. Like, there's mostly just running in fear and having to gang up. It took Cheetor, Optimus, and Black Arachnia just to shoot Rampage off a cliff, and it still didn't stop him completely, right? So to actually now have Black Arachnia to the point where she can beat him solo, no problem, not only shows how much more powerful she is, but how far she herself has come. It's a great choice for her first debut. So yeah, there's a few weirdness things about this episode, but the culmination of Black Arachnia's storyline, seeing Silverbolt, go, just about cross the edge, just the debut. I have to give this a masterful grade. I love this episode. It's a fun one to watch with a lot of things going on and some really good payoffs to a lot of long-term storytelling. By the way, the Rubicon is a river. It was a river that was crossed by Julius Caesar in early January 49 BC, and it was known at the time that crossing the Rubicon was to invite war. Crossing the Rubicon is a modern idiom which means passing the point of no return, which not only applies to Black Arachnia going Transmetal 2 and risking her life to attempt it, but also what Silverbolt almost did if he had his way with Tarantulas. Nice double meaning. So yes, masterful grade. Really good episode. And now, we've only got a few more left, so join me. We will keep these going. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.